Hello and welcome to SME Arena, brought to you by AIG Media Pro. I am Blessing Owim. SME Arena is a program where we invite all entrepreneurs in Nigeria, in the country, to come and talk about their businesses, the strengths and their weaknesses, and how far their business have been from the beginning till now. I have with me in the studio, I have a CEO of Nappy Chef Enterprise, Rachael Okhifor. You're welcome back.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Rachael.
Thank you for having me.
So much. Going through your Instagram page,
Okay.
and I've seen so many of your works, and I'll tell you, they are really, 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 really nice. And I want to tell you that I'm a cake fan.
Thank you.
I love cakes.
That's good to know.
I love cakes so much. So, going through it, I saw so many creative works and so many things that you have done.
Yeah.
I know most of these things takes time, take
Yeah.
hours, and take everything that it takes your working skills, your
Yeah.
timing, and everything.
Yeah.
So, how did you develop your interest in catering?
In catering, well, I would say I usually say I was born into it because my mom's a caterer as well.
Wow.
So I got interested in it really early because she used to make us, get us involved in the work and everything. So that way I just really caught on, and then it was just there. And I kind of knew I was going to end up still in the food and beverage industry. I just wasn't sure where exactly. But then I've just always, been interested right from when I was little.
Okay, so how did you start and when did you start?
Even how did I start, like in
The enterprise.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Um, I went to take a course. I went to get a master's degree in culinary arts management. So after that, I worked at a couple of places,
Okay.
and it just kind of made everything seem real to me because it became practical and not just like when you go to school and you learn stuff in theory and then you actually get to do it, and you get to practicalize it. And then I just got interested in pastry making and sweets and chocolates. And then when I moved back home, I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to bake. I want to decorate cakes. I want to bake and stuff here. So that was how I started. I started it here in 2016.
Okay.
Yes, that was how it started. And since then, it's just gone on to grow and become what it is now.
I know bakery and catering
Yeah.
are a bit stressful,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to cake making.
yeah.
So which do you prefer, baking or catering?
Personally, I love pastries, so I would say cake making. Well, anything that has to do with desserts, sweets, cakes, and pies, stuff like that. So yeah, I love to decorate cakes because I think it helps to bring out the creativity, the fact that you can start with like a very naked, say, vanilla cake, and it ends up being something very beautiful. But when you have to cook, cooking just isn't is I just feel like it's not the same as being able to decorate something, and it does bring out creativity. But then if you follow a recipe, if you want to cook, say, jollof rice now, and you follow a recipe, you end up guessing jollof rice. But then it's not the same thing with baking. Your recipe has to be precise, your measurements have to be correct. If not, you're probably not going to get a cake.
Okay.
So I prefer cake making. I prefer baking to catering.
All right. One last thing before we go on a quick break.
Yeah.
Most times they'll tell you cooking comes with spirit.
Yeah.
When I'm cooking, I have to be in the mood.
Yeah.
So does it really work for you since it's your specialty and this is what you've...
So if like I have to be in the mood to get things done, well, I would say it does apply, but not every time. So when you have a job to do, whether you're in the mood or not, you have to do it. But then again, when that thing comes upon you, you want to try something new, you want to create something different from what you've been creating. So I say it's like what do I call it? Like there's like this light bulb of creativity. So for example, somebody gives me an order for a cake but doesn't specify what they want the cake to look like. So that way they give me like the freedom to pick a design, to create something. Okay. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Rachel. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, she will tell you a lot of things about the creative works in it. Yeah. Stay tuned. You're welcome back from the short break. I still have with me in the studio Rachael Okhifor.
Yeah.
All right. So baking comes with spirit as well. Yeah. I told you then food comes with spirit. So baking comes with spirit, and when you're in that mood, you tend to do things that are even beyond your imagination. Yeah. So how do you come up with your concept? Yes.
Well, I personally think that when it comes to creativity in this industry, you have to have it in you. It's not something that you can learn, or it's not something that can be taught. So some people are excellent bakers, but they're not very creative. You can follow a recipe, like I said before, you follow a recipe and it will give you like a recipe for a loaf of bread. It will give you a loaf of bread. But then, you can have somebody who is creative and the person thinks, oh, okay, as opposed to just doing like a regular loaf, why don't we try to put this and this and this into it?
Okay.
So I think like it's something that you need to have personally. You need to want to try something new. You need to want to try and, experiment. Yeah, experiment something. And so it gives you a result that is different from the regular that anybody will get. So because that way it makes your work different.
Okay. Wedding cakes. Let's come now to weddings.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I actually prefer having chocolate cakes.
Yeah.
But with creams and all of it. But they'll tell you it will melt because there are some things that they'll have to put on it, and they'll tell you to try fondant. And I don't really like that fondant.
Well,
fondant
cake. It boils down to your preference, because to be honest, I do not think I'm going to have a fondant cake for my wedding.
Okay.
Because I'm not a huge fan of fondant cakes as well. But then I've made like several wedding cakes for people that have been made with buttercream and even whipped cream. So it depends on the kind of ceremony you're having, and if it's something that has to stand for a really long time, then we have to think of ways around it. If you do not want a fondant cake, because there are people who want like tiers of cake, say four tiers, and they don't want fondant, they want buttercream cakes or a naked cake or something. So it doesn't have to be a fondant cake. There's other options. So yes, you can have chocolate cake for your wedding.
Oh.
And it wouldn't melt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now red velvet.
Yeah.
Most times people tell you how to make red velvet.
Yeah.
You have to put some color in it and boom, it's red. Or you have to buy beetroot fruit and mix it, and then it comes red.
Oh, okay.
While some tells you, well, that's not how to do it. There are processes to doing it. So can you tell us what's the proper way of making
a red velvet
cake?
Well, I wouldn't even say there's because to each his own. So every bakery has their own standard recipe. I personally have had to try 5 different recipes to get my recipe for red velvet cake. Okay. I'm not going to give it to you. I'll give it to you later. But then, so, somebody can tell you, another baker can tell you, oh, this is how I make my red velvet cake. And if they try it, they'll be right. And then if I told you, oh, this is how I make my red velvet cake, and you taste it, it's still going to be, it might still be good, just as good as the other person's one. It's just that the recipe isn't the same. So there are many recipes.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you one?
No, maybe some other time. Sorry, the last but not the least is there are other brands out there.
Yeah.
So how do you try to come up with, how do you, looking at the competition out there in the market, what makes your services and your products unique from others?
So for Nappy Chef Bakery, when I started, I wanted to be a full service bakery, meaning not just making cakes, because there are lots of cake bakeries that only make cakes and maybe brownies and cupcakes. I wanted it to be a full service bakery, so we make cakes, bread, pastries, sweet and savory pastries. So I wanted to have like everything in one. Not every bakery does that.
Okay.
So, and again, it might seem like this is cliche, but I emphasize on quality and I like to pay attention to details. So I feel like everything that goes into a product, our product, is very, very important, and it helps to, because at the end of the day, I'm just for a customer having a very, very good experience and being able to come back with a referral. So yeah.
So we've come to the end of this exciting segment of SME Arena. It was really, really nice having Rachael Okhifor, the CEO of Nappy Chef Enterprise. Thank you very much once again. We'll come your way next time. I am Blessing Owim. Bye.